We kicked things off in the last video with the #1 script of all time on WGA's list of 101 greatest screenplays. Today, we jump down to number 90 to analyze a true gem of a film. Here are 5 screenwriting secrets in the movie Sideways. Screenwriters constantly get notes to have more conflict in their stories. Many of us make the mistake of simply having characters argue and fight with each other. But that often makes the conflict feel fabricated and not genuine, because there's no emotional reason for it. In Sideways, the conflict occurs organically, from the inside out. In other words, they create conflict through character. Here's their simple formula for conflict in the movie. Take 2 characters, Miles and Jack, put them on a road trip for a week, but give them 2 differing objectives.
We're gonna drink a lot of good wine, we're gonna play some golf, we're gonna eat some great food and enjoy the scenery, and we're gonna send you off in style, Wolfram.
I am going to get laid before I get married on Saturday. Do you read me?
Now, playing off these different objectives, create differences in the characters' traits. Miles wants to enjoy a week of fine wine, so they made him a wine connoisseur, and they made Jack clueless about it. Jack wants to get laid and party, so they made him fun and outgoing with the ladies, and they made Miles timid and self-defeating. So we can see, having these differences in character, the conflict writes itself. But here's the thing, why do Miles and Jack really get on each other's nerves? They say we don't like in others what we don't like about ourselves. So there's also conflict because of their similarities. At breakfast, Jack ogles a young waitress. Miles admonishes him.
Oh, she's a kid, for God's sake.
And yet, Miles gets a copy of a pornographic magazine called Barely Legal. Miles berates Jack for lying about reading his book. And yet Miles himself lies about being late.
There's all of this work going on at my building, and it's just a total nightmare.
Jack isn't a successful actor, and Miles isn't a successful writer. So they take out their frustrations on each other.
Shut up, shut up, shut up!
In Sideways, the conflict comes naturally from both differences and similarities in character. In the story, we learn a lot about Miles and Jack, because there's a lot of exposition buried in the conflict.
Why did you tell them that my novel was being published?
Because you said you had it all lined up.
No, I didn't. No. What I said was that there was some interest at Conundrum.
They use exposition to attack each other, and also to shield themselves.
You're wasting away. Teaching English to fucking 8th graders when they ought to be reading what you wrote. Your books, Miles.
I'm working on it.
We don't even notice the exposition because we're more interested in how each character is going to react.
Have you forgotten all the bad times you had with Victoria? How small she can make you feel?
Shut your face. Shut up.
When exposition has an emotional charge to it, whether it be for attacking or defending, it becomes cleverly hidden as the audience focuses more on the reaction it causes. When we write characters, they should vividly pop off the page. One way to do this is to make each character sound unique. They should sound like themselves and not like each other. For example, Miles is a writer. Therefore, he talks like a writer.
And give me a New York Times and a spinach croissant.
New Bienvenido, you want to taste?
Absolutely. Oh, there's just like the faintest soupçon of like asparagus. Just a pasture animal waiting for the abattoir. I'm a thumbprint on the window of a skyscraper.
Since Jack just wants to party, he sounds like he's still in college.
We're here to party, man. And get your bones smooched. I mean, don't you want to feel that cozy little box grip down on your Johnson? Bet you that chick's 2 tons of fun. You know, the grateful type.
Also, characters should react to things in their own unique manner. Here's how Miles and Jack react to wine tasting.
It's kind of a hollow, flabby, overripe.
I don't know. Tastes pretty good to me.
Crushed it up with leaves and mice, and then wound up with this rancid tar and turpentine mouthwash bullshit.
Tastes pretty good to me.
When confronted with the possibility of romance,
You sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
because of the way each man reacts in a given situation, we get a clear view into their character. In all regards, Miles should not be a likable hero. He lies. He steals money from his mother. He's an alcoholic. He reads barely legal. However, despite doing such despicable things, Miles is not a despicable person. There's one important concept that makes us still root for him. He's human. We can empathize with him even though we don't agree with his actions. I mean, who of us hasn't been heartbroken over a failed relationship? Who of us hasn't held on to the past? Who of us hasn't been rejected in our career? Who of us hasn't had money problems? And there's still a positive side to Miles. He's well-read. He's an expert on wine. He cares for his friend Jack and helps him out. And, as the main protagonist, he still does something very important in screenwriting. He's active. He's the one that asks Maya to join them at the bar. Despite being abandoned by Jack, he goes to the hitching post by himself to see Maya. He's the one that goes to get Jack's wallet back. So, despite his self-destructive ways, Miles is still an active hero, and this makes us root for him. Most of the conflict with Miles is internal. His biggest obstacle is himself. However, films aren't like a novel where we can get direct access inside a character's head. If we can't see or hear it, we don't know it. In Sideways, they skillfully externalize Miles' internal conflict through the characters around him. Every character challenges Miles' weakness. Indirectly, Mike Erganian verbalizes what Miles dreads.
I think you read something somebody just invented it. Waste of time.
Gary the bartender enables Miles' alcoholism.
Anyway, what can I get you?
Highlander.
Glass or bottle?
Bottle.
His mother says what Miles wants most in his heart.
You should get back together with Victoria. She was good for you.
Jack calls Miles out on his self-defeating ways.
But you haven't heard anything yet, so don't you think your negativity's a little premature?
Stephanie is a threat to the carefully planned week, a microcosm of Miles' life.
Oh, we had a drink with her last night. Miles knows her.
Yes, can we move on to the Syrah, please? You didn't invite Stephanie to come with us, did you? We were supposed to play golf. What the f*** are you doing with this chick?
So week has gone sour. It hasn't gone the way it was supposed to. I just want to go home.
And finally, the most important challenge comes from Maya, who shows us that Miles does not live in the present moment.
Based on personal experience, but only loosely.
What's the title?
The Day After Yesterday.
You mean today?
There are other methods of externalizing the internal conflict in Miles. There's the obvious symbolism in wine. In describing Pinot grapes, Miles describes himself.
Thin-skinned, temperamental. It's not a survivor like Cabernet.
Miles turns to wine for emotional comfort, but in a self-destructive manner. Miles' character arc is symbolized by his special bottle of 1961 Cheval Blanc. It sits in his closet even though it's peaking. He can't open it because he's still holding on to the past. But in the end, after getting punched in the gut by the news of Victoria's pregnancy, he doesn't turn to the wine for self-destruction. Instead, he moves on with his life. He savors the wine and enjoys the present moment, even though it's not in a special place.
You know, the day you open a 61 Cheval Blanc, that's the special occasion.
So what are your thoughts? Anything you disagree with? Anything you'd like to add? Join in the conversation by leaving a comment below. Also, please be sure to subscribe to see more from Script Sleuth. I sincerely hope this analysis was helpful. Thanks for watching.